Brian Kilmead apologized over the weekend for comments that he made during a segment on the death of Irina Zarutska last week. Fox co-host Ainsley Earhart was discussing how someone who's been arrested 14 times, well, they should be put in prison, and Lawrence Jones added that if such people refuse services, they should be locked up in jail. Then Kilmead weighed in.
Billions of dollars to mental health and the homeless population. A lot of them don't want to take the programs. A lot of them don't want to get the help that is necessary. You can't give them a choice. Either you take the resources that we're going to give you, or you decide that you're going to be locked up in jail. That's the way it has to be now.
Or involuntary lethal injection or something. Just kill them.
That comment sparked backlash online, with many pointing out that a large number of unhoused people, homeless people across the country, are veterans.
Now, some online also compared his comments to former MSNBC commentator Matthew Dowd's controversial take following the death of Charlie Kirk, saying that Kilmeade should face similar consequences. Now, over the weekend, Kilmeade offered his apology. Take a look.
We were discussing the murder of Irina Zarutska in Charlotte, North Carolina, and how to stop these kinds of attacks. During that discussion, I wrongly said they should get lethal injections. I apologize for that extremely callous remark. I'm obviously aware that not all mentally ill homeless people act as the perpetrator did in North Carolina, and that so many homeless people deserve our empathy and compassion.
But that apology seemed to fall flat with some. Former Surgeon General during Trump's first term, Dr. Jerome Adams, took to X saying, quote, "I appreciate the apology, but Brian Kilmeade's apology falls short. A fair and balanced network can't tolerate a seasoned reporter casually suggesting we execute the mentally ill and homeless. Suspension is the bare minimum. Accountability matters, or it doesn't."
I think it was correct to apologize, and that should be that. He's someone who has opinions. I think he was trying to suggest that that a mentally ill homeless person who committed a crime as serious as this person who stabbed this woman, Irina Zarutska, on the train and caused her to bleed to death in seconds or minutes, that person deserves to die. If he gave people the impression he thinks the homeless people should just be rounded up and killed, that's obviously incorrect. They should get treatment. The question is how you get people who want to refuse treatment the help they actually need. And I agree with what Lawrence Jones was saying, is that we're going to have to consider more, I've said this before, coercive methods, but not killing them for noncompliance.
Yeah, I think you're being really lenient with your perspective on what he was saying. They were having an open conversation about dealing with the crisis, and his co-host just kind of sat there as he said, "Let's lethally inject people," and then reiterated after he was done, like, "kill them." And I think that just shows the lack of empathy, I think, as a country that we have for the homeless population, as we talk about even things like what's happening in D.C. Let's get them out of here, like, just out of sight, out of mind. But a lot of these people are not killers. In fact, studies, like one published in the National Library of Medicine that I read yesterday, shows that homeless people are generally more times the victim of violent crimes than they are the perpetrators. Like, if the whole population
They're victims of other homeless people.
They are the victims of violent crime. So I didn't get into
the violent crime of the homeless people.
No, I don't think each other. I'm saying the percentage-wise, based on the whole population and based on homeless people, are the victims of violent crime. And so the point for me is that they are often the ones that are the victims as well, and also not all needing specific remedies that we have put forth. Some of them actually just need housing. Some of them actually just need to figure that solution out. Like, we can't start with the one solution that's like give them medicine, but not talk about the overall structural change that gets people into homelessness. And that starts with a lot of unaffordability and some policies that we have. I mean, there's a disconnect on how to get to the end game, but the conversation we're having is like kind of up here. And
I used to think that because I grew up in suburbs of Detroit, and when you'd go into the city and I'd see homelessness, or it was poverty driven. When I moved here to Washington, D.C., I realized that the poverty here, the homelessness here, is not poverty. Usually it's mental illness or drug addiction. And so just throwing homes at people, they do that. In this city, you can easily get a home for a mentally ill homeless person, but they don't stay in the home because they need to be where their drugs are, on the streets. And they wreck the home environment anyway. So you need to treat, in my view, most cases, not all cases, but in most cases, you need to treat the underlying drug addiction or mental illness first, or else giving them a home is not going to do any good.
Yeah, and have people in place that are not thinking like Brian Kilmead and thinking about real long-term solutions.
Right, we can't just kill people, although in response to the kind of violence, I mean, we still have the death penalty in some places. You might very well be executed for the kind of behavior we saw there.
On the train, for sure. We're specifically talking about the train incident.
Yes,
right.
I think that's what we were talking about.
Another ICE raid turned deadly the other day, sparking conversations about their methods of enforcement. I'll have more of that on my lens. Stick around.